Hi everyone, my name is Corey Dow. I'm a technical marketing engineer with HPE Aruba Networking. Today we're going to cover a feature brief update for the reserved GBP tag feature with AOS-CX release 10.15. So before we begin, let's give a brief overview of group-based policy or GBP. So the solution is also known as virtual network-based tunneling or also group policy option. It establishes a mechanism for RBAC within an EVPN VXLAN fabric. As you can see, policy IDs are mapped to user or device roles, as you can see here at the bottom of the diagram. And the egress VTEPs have configured group-based policies that determine whether the source role is authorized to communicate with the destination role. So you can see here these egress VTEPs here at the bottom. So these are each of the egress VTEPs. So the group-based policy ID is injected at the ingress VTEP, and then it's enforced at the egress VTEP. So if we're communicating with, say, AP here and printer across to this segment, so this egress VTEP would have a policy that would either allow or deny that. And so local user roles are assigned to each of the authenticated devices that have associated group-based policies. And we support both macro and micro segmentation scenarios for either inter-VNI or intra-VNI, same switch, or across different switches. And finally, Aruba Central Net Conductor orchestrates and automates the provisioning of the roles and the policy creations, and also the entire fabric configuration as well is supported by Aruba Central Net Conductor. So as we can see here, group-based policy isn't new. We started releasing the support for the feature, starting with the 10.08 release, where we supported the VXLAN stub VTEP, and also the introduction of the group-based policy and the egress policy enforcement. And then we followed it up with 10.11 with multi-fabric support. So the initial releases only supported single fabric. And then later on, we supported Aruba Central Net Conductor, starting with Aruba Central 2.5.7. So I encourage you to go out to each of these YouTube videos to get you up to speed for what we have in terms of feature support. But I just cover this as an overview so you can see the history of the feature. So now let's get to the heart of this feature brief update. So with AOS-CX release 10.13, we provided support for reserved GBP tag for internet and intranet traffic. And so what this did, as you can see from the screen, it provides the ability to tag traffic at the border VTEP arriving from external networks, either the intranet or internet, as you can see pictured here. So this is the core and or the border VTEP, and we have packets arriving from external sources here. So you can see that could be coming from the internet or the intranet. So we want to be able to tag those with different roles, and these reserved roles, as you can see mentioned here, are internet has a group-based policy ID 3, intranet is 4, and then the ISL would be 5. And so this allows you to set policies here, not just for east-west traffic as we've had in prior releases, but also north-south traffic, so we can have or restrict the ability for certain roles to connect to certain prefixes, that extend beyond the fabric itself into these external networks. And this is supported on the 8360 platform, starting with the 10.13 release. And so policy enforcement, as we see here, occurs at the egress VTEPs like it always did in prior releases, but also now with 10.13, it's also supported at the border VTEPs with role-based access lists and AOS-CX 10.13. And we just show an example here of a Wireshark capture. So it doesn't capture those specific reserved IDs, but this is what it looks like underneath the hood, where we see the VXLAN network identifier section here, and then it's got the group-based policy ID that you see here, which is mapped to group-based policy ID 300, which would map to kind of one of these roles down here. Yeah, so in this slide, we're just going to show you the platform support for the GBP feature. And again, so the feature is not new, as we already mentioned. You can see support for throughout the history about each of the devices and which ones are supported. We want to draw attention to, at least with 10.15 support, is that in prior releases we supported the 8360 and the reserved GBP support only with the core spine profile. But now with 10.15, we also now support it with the aggregation leaf profile on the 8360, which is the default. So this just highlights the platform support for each of the devices, as you can see here in the equivalent releases. Yeah, and with that, we've reached the end of the session. Hopefully this has been valuable and encourage you to reach out to the Airheads community. You can scan the QR code and sign up for the community today. It's a great place for resources. All the material from a lot of these training sessions are posted there. So that should help with understanding more about AOS-CX and the features that we offer on the CX brand.